What's up? How you doing? Thank you for checking out another one of our videos, and this one was actually requested by one of our subscribers, Carlos V. He asked us to do a drop fade, or as I like to call it, a low fade with a number 4 on top. Now it's not quite a number 4 on top, but it's close and it's the same steps anyways. So let's go right into it, and you can see we're just balding our client out. We're creating our first guideline, skin, right? And we're using the Walls balding clipper to do that, and in my opinion, this is the best tool for it. This clipper right here deserves its own video, and maybe later on I'll make a video on that. But real quick on the balding process, as you can see, this particular client right here, they have a naturally high arch right above their ear, behind their ear. So I'm gonna use that as my guideline for this low fade or drop fade, right? And we're gonna go on to the next step. Now that first guideline is gonna go right into a half, or the Andes Masters all the way open, to create our second guideline. Now to remove that first guideline, you're gonna probably use the Andes all the way closed. And I'm just gonna let you guys know that in between these steps, so that later on you understand what's going on. But each guideline, I go up about a ½ inch to an inch all the way around, and I'm gonna try to keep these lines proportioned with one another, these guidelines. And the reason why is because I like to stay neat. I like to stay clean and neat throughout my entire haircut, because generally 9 times out of 10, that's your end result. It's gonna be a clean and neat haircut. So if you're just starting out, you're just learning how to cut hair, try to make that habit, right? So the next step is the number 1 guard all the way open. And again, we're gonna go a ½ inch to an inch up all the way around the head. And to take out this this guideline that we created from the ½ to the 1½ is obviously gonna be the number 1. I'm using Andes has phenomenal guards, the Andes magnetic guards. This is the number 2 Andes magnetic guard. It's all the way open. We're gonna go again a ½ inch to an inch all the way around the head, keeping these guidelines proportioned with one another. And obviously, if the last guideline was created with a 1½ and this next guideline is created with a 2½, what's gonna take out that guideline in between? A number 2, right? And I don't normally, when I'm doing my haircuts on a regular basis, I don't create all these guidelines first. You're gonna get to a point where you don't need guidelines anymore. But for the sake of teaching you, I'm doing all my guidelines first. And this is the number 3 guard all the way open. And we're gonna go a ½ inch to an inch all the way around, proportioned with one another, right? And if the guideline before this guideline was made with a 2½, then to take out the 3½, you're gonna use a number 3. 2½, 3, 3½. The 3 takes out that guideline in between. It's the same thing for each step, prior and after. Now the biggest guard we're gonna use and the highest that we're gonna go is here, right below the ridge that turns into the top of the head. And that's the number 4 guard. So right from the 3½, the number 4 guard should blend right into the top. And you know, we're just taking out that bulk with the number 4. And again, it's gonna be the biggest guard or comb or clipper attachment that we're gonna use on this haircut. So we're gonna start from the bottom, taking out the guideline. You can start from the top if you want, but in this side, we're gonna start from the bottom. Obviously, to take out the ball to the half, you're going to use the number 0, which is the Andes all the way closed. Now, as you go up, you're opening the lever, or you're opening the blade. The longer the blade, or the more open the lever, the longer the hairs are going to be as you're cutting. So, as you're going up to the next guideline, you're opening that clipper, which is creating that fade, right? Right here, in between the ½ and the 1½, you're gonna use the number 0 guard to start knocking out that guideline in between. So, like I said, you're using the number 0 guard and you're opening it as you go higher with the clipper, creating that fade. But you're not gonna quite go above that the next guideline. Now the 0 guard all the way open is pretty much a number 1 guard all the way closed. They fade into each other. Right here I have the number 1 and I'm opening it a little bit and I'm starting to take out the rest of that bulk. Now I'm not going up above the number 2.5 area. Now if I get a little confusing in this whole tutorial, just let me know in the comments. I'm learning as I go. I've never done anything like this, but I do want to get better at this because I do want to help people. So criticism is more than welcome. I can take a punch or two. You can see that I stretch the head sometimes, or I stretch the skin on the scalp, and that's to get in dark spotted areas. Sometimes there's parts of the head that have like minor dents, and those particularly are the areas where you'll have those darker spots. So you really got to stretch the skin to kind of get in. You got to kind of get in there. Right here we have the number 2, and that's all the way closed, and we're starting to take out some of that bulk. It's not going to be perfect the first go around, but that's why you always check your mirror and you always go back and fix anything that's not perfect or not as good as you want it. Let me not say perfect, because obviously no cut is perfect. So I mean, I'm gonna get a little bit more quiet and maybe a little off topic throughout the rest of the haircut, I guess, because you guys should by now know the basic steps, and by what I've already explained in the beginning, you should kind of be able to get what I'm doing. You know, I'm opening up obviously the number 2 guard the closer I get to the number 3 with the lever, and that's the whole fading process. And it's a lot of it is trial and error. You know, if you cut into a spot, here's the beauty about the Andes Masters. You can hear when it's cutting hair. Like, it has an awesome sound about it when it cuts hair. You can hear, it almost sounds like you can hear every single piece of hair or hair shaft that it cuts. So if you're, you know, trying to remove a dark spot or a demarcation or some bulk, and you don't hear the hair coming off or getting cut, then obviously you need to close the lever, or you need to go to a lower guard. And you got to keep doing that until you get the result that you want. A haircut is trial and error, and it's gonna be that way every single haircut. It takes it takes so many visits, you know, for you to really understand somebody's head, you know, the way somebody's hair cuts, you know. And after experience and repetition, that's when you're gonna shorten the amount of time you take on a haircut, because it gets to a point where it becomes second nature, and all of a sudden you can look at somebody's hair texture or the shape of somebody's head, and you'll know right away how to attack that haircut. Trial and error, a great way to, you know, kind of go throughout your haircut doing the whole trial and error method is using the corners of your teeth, the corner of the blade. You'll notice a lot of your favorite barbers, you know, on YouTube or whatever videos that they make, they use the corner of their blade a lot. And the reason why is because you're not committed so much, as opposed to just running your clipper right through that spot. You know what I mean? You play with it, you use the corner of your blade, and you can get you can pick at a small demarcation or a small area, you know, without cutting a chunk out of somebody's hair, you know. At this rate, man, I'm just going back and I'm just, you know, being a lot more detailed. I think the basics, the guidelines are all the same on, you know, on a lot of haircuts. You can get the basics down, but where you create a awesome haircut, where you'll get a retention rate from your clients, is by paying attention to the details and taking your time creating that flawless fade, so to speak. On these drop fades, when I get to the hairline where the C cup is, and or that obviously like the sideburn area where you have your curvature, I like to leave that a little bit darker, because when you line that up and you leave it a little bit darker, the line will pop a lot more. But the more time you take into your haircut, for the most part, I mean, you could take too much time. Obviously, if this haircut right here is taking you more than 40 minutes, then you're taking too much time. You should, I mean, a good time to get this haircut knocked out is a half hour. That's good timing. And, I know barbers obviously that can do it half that time and faster than that, but you also don't want to rush your clients out the chair, right? So on this side, I faded up. You're gonna start to notice on the other side, I'm fading down. Now it's the same steps. You're just starting from the top down. Instead of, because when you start from the bottom up, you're opening the lever as you go up. Well, obviously, when you're starting from the top, fading from the top down, you're closing the lever as you go down. I hope that makes sense to you. I hope it helps. Now, from the sides to the back, you want to make sure that it connects and it flows. You don't want it to be, the back is faded lower than the sides. So when I'm connecting the back to the sides, I try to put the client at an angle, so that I can see how it flows into the back. And now I'm fading the back. After I faded the angles, I'm fading the back into the angles, right? Does that make any sense? I hope so. I know I'm trying to make it sound like I'm talking to one person, right? You're the viewer, you're listening to me, and I just want to be talking to you, even though I'm really talking to a wall, right? And right here, I'm cutting up until I hear sound. I hear the hairs cutting. And here I am at that angle again, making sure that it flows into the side. Again, I'm at an angle, and I'm making sure that it connects real nice to the back. This right here is the number 0 guard. And as far as pricing for this haircut, man, I can't tell a man, what to charge for his haircuts. But we as barbers got to get together and we got to start charging for our haircuts, man. Like, this stuff takes time, man, and it takes a huge learning curve to really get these type of haircuts down pat. Not everyone can do these drop fades. So if you get this drop fade down pat, man, don't charge regular prices for this. This is a specialty cut, Charge for your time. And it's it's hard as an individual barber to charge a different price than everyone else in the shop. So as a team, as a unit, Barber Love, right? As a whole bunch of professionals in the same industry, we all got to get together and charge these prices and stop undercutting each other. Sorry, I had to vent a little bit. And like I've told individuals in the past, man, don't be afraid to go up on your fades. I know you want to keep this as low. You want to keep this low. You know, I know you want this to be a drop fade. But the moment you start second guessing yourself, you know, you see some bulk or some dark spots, and you say, no, I'm not. I'm afraid I'm gonna go up on the fade, and it's not gonna be a low fade anymore. That's you know, you're sacrificing the quality of your haircut because you're afraid to bring the fade up too much. That's why you use the corners of your teeth. And that's why you do trial and error. You go up with your clipper until you start hearing hair cut, and then you stop going up, you know. And you know, if this haircut right here, this was the hardest haircut for me to get good at, get decent at, because I'm not gonna say you might not think this is a good haircut, but for me it's a decent cut, man. And I charge for this haircut. I get paid every day. I pay my bills and I take care of my family with this quality haircut. So it does all right for me, right? But that's besides the point. Yeah, you know, this haircut right here is hard. So don't get down on yourself if you're trying it out for the first time, or you're a student barber and you're trying to master it. This is one of the hardest haircuts to do in the whole catalog. So just keep doing it. Just keep practicing it. Repetition. Ask questions, man. If there's a certain part that you really didn't get, man, I'll make another video. I did this for one of my subscribers, Carlos, and man, I love what I do, man, and I'm starting to get a passion for making these videos. So hit me up, man. Subscribe to me, comment, and let me know what y'all want to see, man. Right here, this was a game changer for me too. The 5-star wall shaver. And I know there's a new Andy's one that's supposed to be real good too, but start balding out your haircuts with these shavers, because it's a world of difference. You may not notice it until you start using this tool. It's a world of difference. It's really going from skin to, you know, whatever you're fading into, but that extra level of closeness makes a world of difference in the end result of your haircut. And clients, when they touch their skin and see how smooth it is, they appreciate that, man. And I even sometimes will follow it up with the razor, and they'll come back to you just because you do that. So here I'm gonna line it up. I'm using this Andy Slimline Pros. These are some good little clippers, man. Wireless joints. You can zero gap them, and they cut, man, and they don't pull no hair. You can, man, I could ball somebody out with these little trimmers. Those things right there deserve a video on its own. So this particular client, he wants it with the grain. He's receding a little bit in his corners, and he wants to kind of keep the waviness on the top, and it tends to give a smoother look when you cut with the grain. So I'm using the number 2 guard with the grain closed. The guard, the levers, the blade is all the way closed. So I went ahead and cut the top all the way down. Right here I'm applying Suavecito, which is a water-based pomade, real dope product. I'm combing it all down. I'm gonna show you a couple different techniques of how I line my clients up. Now I started to line him up, but I didn't like how it was looking because the hair was longer on top. There was a lot of hairs escaping from my trimmer, so to speak. So I'll show you a technique real quick that's pretty effective when it comes to lining up longer hair. And generally what I like to do, man, is I like to start from the middle. Then I like to start at the highest corner, try to keep it as natural as possible, and then I'll match the lower corner with the highest corner. So right here I sprayed on the top of his head with water, and I took my brush out and I started brushing it down. Now I'm gonna spray some spritz. That spritz is gonna get hard and it's gonna hold the hair in place. Now I'm gonna start lining him up again. and get all those little hairs that were trying to escape from my trimmer that I couldn't quite get. Now I'm starting to knock those out. It's going to give a nice, sharper, clean look. Now, one thing I didn't show is that I do use the razor after the haircut. My camera died. Listen, I really appreciate you watching the video. I just want to thank you guys for all the love, the comments, and all the positive feedback I've been getting from you guys, man. All I can ask you to do is just keep doing that, man. Keep asking questions. Let's learn more. Let's earn more. Let's just grow together. I've been in the industry about 5 years. I feel like I got some experience, and I feel like I just want to share it with the world. So just subscribe, and let's keep growing.